The public sector affects every aspect of life in the UK. This podcast will give you exclusive news, interviews and insights from the people responsible for building and shaping the country's future. In each episode, we'll be joined by key figures in the public sector, covering everything from the environment to the economy. Hi and welcome to Public Sector Voices, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Daisy Penford, Head of Sport and Physical Activity at CSSC Sports Leisure. Hi Daisy, how are you?
Hello, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. So can you tell me a bit more about CSSC? What is it and what's its purpose?
Yeah, so CSSC has been going actually about 100 years. We celebrated our centenary last year, in fact. But CSSC has been around to support and inspire civil service and public sector workers to, I guess, lead more active, more fulfilling lifestyles, and that's providing sport and leisure and well-being opportunities.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting, and a lot of people have New Year's resolutions to get fit, to get healthy, so I'm sure there's a lot of people who are looking to do that at this time of the year. So you work at the organisation as Head of Sport and Physical Activity, so can you tell me a bit more about your role at the CSSC?
Yeah, so I've been at CSSC for, crikey, must be about over 6 years now, and as you said, I'm Head of Sport and Physical Activity, and that's really trying to provide a strategic direction or a strategy for how we get people moving, civil servants moving, public sector workers moving, and I guess I'm on a bit of a mission to try and improve the health and happiness of workers. And yeah, I guess I've always enjoyed that feeling or that satisfaction of trying to help others reach their potential and make them feel good. Yeah, it's something I've always done in my career, and I've moved from trying to encourage students to get active to now and trying to encourage civil servants and public sector workers. So different challenges, but yeah, a really good one that I've been doing over the last 6 years. I guess when I first came into CSSC, leisure was quite a big focal point at CSSC, and our members were very much interested in the leisure-based activities as opposed to getting active. And when you look at why CSSC was formed, 100 years ago in 1921, it was to try and provide sport opportunities and try and find that kind of the quickest civil servant or the best badminton player or the best civil service football team. And over the years it's sort of morphed, CSC's more from the sports side of things to the introduction of leisure, and I was really brought on board at CSC those 6 years ago to try and readdress the balance of sport and leisure and to ensure that CSC was offering a good balance of both getting active and the leisure side of things. And yeah, really challenging role, but really rewarding one at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely sounds like it, and not everybody who does sport is competitive, so and you were saying there it used to be all about teams and who's the best in certain competitions, but now it's more about the taking part and getting active that way. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. It was more of a competitive element, and you're right. People aren't so interested. Not everyone's interested in competing and being the best. It really is just about moving your body and trying to, whether it's increase your step count or do a bit more swimming or walk the dog more often. It's those sorts of everyday movements that we're starting to try and encourage more of at CSSC. Whether it's running, walking, swimming, cycling, those sorts of really good stuff is definitely CSSC's having a bigger impact or emphasis on now, for sure.
Yeah, and how has your job changed in the past 2 years or so with COVID-19?
Yeah, it's been a tough one actually. In terms of the physical activity offering at CSSC, we offer gym discounts, and we organise loads of sports events and physical activity events. And obviously the last 18 months, 2 years, it's been really difficult to, the gyms were closed at one point. We weren't able to organise sports events. So we've definitely had to change our way of thinking, be a bit more innovative of how we provide people and our members with physical activity opportunities. So it has been a really challenging one, but COVID has allowed us to introduce new ideas and new concepts that have gone down really well with members actually. It's not always all about the gym discounts and those events to attend.
Yeah, and I think during COVID, it's really highlighted that, exercise, it's not just good for you physically but mentally as well. Is that a message that you're trying to get out there to workers in the public sector?
Yeah, well, I think we all know that, COVID has had a huge impact on our daily lives. It's caused so much disruption and everyone's being affected in different ways and on different levels. Some have had to isolate for long periods of time, causing loneliness and that kind of disconnect from others. Other people have lost loved ones or lost jobs. There's that kind of anxiety over the future and kind of what it holds in this kind of pandemic. And we've had the struggles with working from home and homeschooling and all that sort of stuff that has been really difficult for people and has a huge impact on people's well-being. And I guess to add salt to the wound, we haven't been able to connect with friends and family and do those leisure activities that would usually kind of help ease those anxieties and stresses and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's been a real difficult one. And I think within the civil service particularly, they've found a lot more absences due to mental health issues. I think also there's been a struggle with burnout and, working from home. It's almost, you're sort of living in your workplace. Now I'm in my dining room and so many different functions. And yeah, I guess we are all living in your workplace as such that, it is quite easy to, those boundaries between home and work life have definitely blurred. So it's definitely something for CSSC to try to see how that we can encourage to have that more balanced lifestyle and provide those kind of well-being opportunities. I think the pandemic has actually put physical health and mental health on a bit of a pedestal, and rightly so, to kind of giving people a focus, and certainly organisations a focus to look at it more and take it more seriously since COVID. So, despite these challenges, I think it has presented a bit of an opportunity for us to really try and get the message across that well-being is important.
Absolutely, and that brings us nicely on to discussing the Active Wellbeing campaign by yourself, CSSC, in connection with Civil Service Human Resources, CSHR. Can you tell me a bit more about the campaign?
Yeah, sure. It came about 4 years or so now, and I mean within my role I'd started to work more so with the civil service, with the Cabinet Office or Civil Service HR, as you said, and conversations were leading to the fact that they were struggling with a lot of musculoskeletal issues, and they wanted to encourage workers to get more active and to think about moving more. And they wanted to run a big campaign, but didn't necessarily have the resources and the expertise and the manpower to be able to run such a campaign. And, on the other side, CSSC has always wanted to run a really big campaign and reach new audiences, outside just our membership, to raise our profile. And actually, the two coming together has been a bit of a match made in heaven, in that CSSC can provide the expertise and the manpower to deliver the campaign, and also it's then down to the Cabinet Office to be able to get the message out as far and as wide as we can about the campaign. So it's been a really good two-way partnership, and that's really sort of how it came about to start with.
Yeah, and it's into its fourth year, and it's been going for 4 years now. How has the campaign grown from the start to where we are today as we embark on another wellbeing campaign?
Yeah, it's grown, but it's grown in different ways actually, because obviously we had pre-COVID Active Wellbeing campaign, and then obviously a post-COVID campaign. At the start, when we sat down with Civil Service HR, we tried to come up with a concept that it was a campaign that needed to attract or sort of cater for those that are most inactive, that really don't do very much activity at all. And try and get people thinking about just making those small changes to their lifestyle, those small sort of habits that they can keep, and making it kind of that all big important first step to just getting yourself outside, or just thinking about, I am going to go to the gym, or whatever it might be. So we came up with the pledging concept, which is all about making a pledge to change a certain behaviour, or whether it's walking more steps each day, or walking the dog more, or just waking up a bit earlier to go out for a swim, whatever it might be. And I think making a pledge is a really nice way to, firstly, you're writing it down, or you're making that commitment. Secondly, it's on the website, so you're telling people about it. And those two things are usually almost what you need to kind of make that first step. So the make a pledge concept, which we came up with, has been a really successful one. I think pledging as well is really inclusive. to everyone, you can pledge or make that commitment as much or as little as you want to. You can just, some people will pledge to run a marathon, whilst others will just pledge to walk the dog for an extra 10 minutes that day, that sort of thing. So the pledging is a really nice way to be inclusive to all, and gives people that first step or that first confidence to actually make a change.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously COVID has made people realise that the mental and physical well-being is so important, but I read a thing recently that said, working in an office 9 to 5 is the new smoking in terms of how unhealthy it is. And so obviously you want to promote active lifestyles for people in the public sector, because a lot of jobs in the public sector are 9 to 5, sit at a desk, or a lot now from home, obviously.
Yeah, and that's really one of the main targets for Active Wellbeing campaign, is about workplace wellbeing, and how do we try and fit in activity in our 9 to 5 jobs, and whether it's how you use your lunch break, or it's taking regular breaks. We came up with a chair aerobics video, which is all about providing a set of stretches that are just kind of 5 to 10 minutes long that you can do at your desk. We kind of all slouch over and spend too much time sitting down, so the chair aerobics was really nice idea to try and get people loosened up. Just take that 10 minutes away from your screen.
Yeah, I can imagine. CSSC, you've got over 160,000 members, and how do you engage with those members to get really active?
Yeah, so we've got loads of different ways that people can get active with CSSC. I've mentioned the gym discounts. Something that's really popular at CSC is we have a pot of money called the Physical Activity Fund, and again that's aimed at workplaces where if you think that you would like to organise workplace activities, workplace yoga, after work football, a table tennis table, all those sorts of good stuff, CSSC has a fund available for workplaces to be able to utilise that. Now at the moment we're obviously it's still a bit of a hybrid way of working, isn't it, with both being in the office and at home. But again, we've seen that people have been quite unique applications coming in and trying to get work colleagues active, even though we might all be kind of separated or working from home, and a lot of online exercise classes that have been really popular and that sort of thing. But the doors are starting to open, and we have got loads of activities that people can take part in. We've got running communities, walking communities that members can be part of as well, with regular competitions, prizes to be won. So it's certainly keeping CC on our toes, trying to come up with new ways to get people to move again.
And a lot of people in the public sector who maybe haven't heard of the scheme, I'm sure would be very interested in employers as well across the public sector, whether that's the civil service or indeed local government. They would want to get their staff involved. So what benefit is there for employers to get their staff involved in this campaign?
Yeah, so I think like I said, the Active Wellbeing campaign is, we make sure it is inclusive to everybody. Absolutely everybody can take part. It doesn't matter how much or how little activity you do previously in your day-to-day kind of habits. Active Wellbeing is all about just making those really small changes and long-lasting changes. It's kind of that long-lasting behavioural change. The campaign offers workplaces tools and resources. You can download a pack of resources on how to communicate our Active Wellbeing campaign. There's email template, poster template, so it really takes out the stresses of trying to of a workplace, whether it's a health and wellbeing lead or a HR lead, thinking that they want to try and get their workplaces or their employees more active, but don't quite know how to go about it, maybe struggling with time and budget and that sort of thing. And that's where the Active Wellbeing campaign is all about, making it as easy as possible for a workplace to say, I'm going to take part, and here's all your tools and resources to spread the word and get your employees moving. I think we can probably all agree on what the benefits are of getting employees moving more.
Yeah, and I'm sure in the past 4 years you've seen a lot of these benefits firsthand, and I'm sure a lot of employers have, because if they've got a workforce that's more active, I'm sure that'll have a positive effect on their day-to-day jobs and their outlook as well.
Yeah, exactly. And you kind of, I think back to what I've been been doing sort of since the new year, and we've all been setting our own New Year's resolutions, and one for me was just to try and get up a little bit earlier and just to spend a couple of minutes stretching, and from that I end up kind of doing a few exercises. And already from doing that, I know we're only a few days into the new year, but since I've started to do that in the morning just before turning on the laptop and starting to look at the emails and meetings I've got for the day, just spending that bit of time first thing in the morning just for me to focus on my mental health and physical health. I already feel so much better. I'm so much happier. I'm kinder to other people. I'm more productive at work. I've got more confidence. I've got more energy. I feel stronger. All that from just, setting the alarm a little bit earlier and just doing a couple of stretches. And I said it's kind of those little small changes that I think can make a really big difference, both for yourself, for others, and for your workplace.
Yeah, absolutely. And would you be able to tell me about some of the opportunities for employers, through the benefits and discounts that are available?
Yeah, so we've got, so much on offer at CSSC. I've talked about the ways in which we offer physical activity opportunities. We offer a lot of leisure-based activities as well. And when I say activities, we've got savings for cinemas, we've got discounts for dining out, we've got discounts for different attractions and experiences. There really is something for everybody available, whether it is through your offers or product and that sort of thing. Something else that we have that's really popular at CSSC is our volunteering and community group.
Yeah, if you could expand more on that would be really, really interesting.
Volunteering is, a really important aspect at CSSC. We've got about over 1,000 volunteers that cover a variety of different interests, and they've set up these community groups, whether it's local interests or kind of that sort of thing, and they're always providing quite a warm and welcoming community feel for members. And our volunteers look after a lot of our activities, and it relates back to wellbeing in that it's that sense of connecting with others, finding interests, people with the same interests and that sort of thing that can really do positive things for your well-being. So I strongly recommend the volunteering side of CSSC. It's a really nice community to be part of. And I think what CSSC has started to focus on now is working with employers, whether it's in the civil service or the public sector, to try and understand how CSSC can help the health and well-being agenda that workplace might have, and trying to provide the right well-being support to match it. It's a really important thing for us at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. You were saying about the leisure offers that are available to people, and that must be really important, for people working at home so that they can have that work-life balance. Have you noticed during the pandemic that a lot of people maybe don't have that work-life balance that they once had when they worked more regular hours and in the office? And what will the Active Wellbeing campaign be looking to promote a good work-life balance?
Yeah, it is. You're right. It is all about the work-life balance, and as I said, we are living in our workplace for a lot of people across the country. And like I said, those lines have been blurred between your typical 9 to 5. So we are trying to encourage people to switch off. I think that's the most important thing, and just put aside that time for you. And it's kind of encouraging members to find something at CSSC that is something that they enjoy and they want to do, and they'll stick with it.
And when I was doing some research, then there's some prizes to win along the way. Could you discuss that a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. I think it's important that we provide incentives to getting active for this campaign. I think it's a really nice addition to the campaign to have that carrot to dangle, just to encourage people just that little bit more to think, oh yeah, I will make that pledge, I will look at the website, or I will look at the tools and resources. It really just encourages people to get onto the website, and from there they then should get sucked into all the really good stuff and content on the website. In terms of the prizes itself, we've got, by making a pledge, automatically you'll get a 3 months free with Ordnance Survey, which is a really cool app to help you get out and about, find walking routes in your local area. So just by pledging, everybody gets access to that, which is really cool. And then we also have some prizes along the way that you can win, referring a friend, you could win prizes too. So there's loads of different ways that you could be in with winning. So I certainly suggest having a little look at the website and checking it out. That's a really important part of Active Wellbeing, is those incentives, just to get people interested to start with.
Yeah, that sounds really good. And what, from a personal point of view, what do you hope this year's Active Wellbeing campaign achieves?
I think it's just it's trying to, we've discussed, haven't we, the impact that COVID has had on a lot of people, and it's just thinking about, I hope there are people out there that will just think about, spending a little bit more time on themselves and making that pledge, that first commitment. So I'm hoping to receive many pledges as possible, and we're both interested in members and non-members. CSSC is a membership-based organisation, but this campaign is for absolutely everybody. You don't have to be a member of CSSC to take part, and we really want everybody to get involved. So see as many pledges as possible would be fantastic, and to hopefully see more health and wellbeing leads and HR leads take up those workplace packs to organise something within their workplace, and then we can start working together after Active Wellbeing is finished at the end of January to try and maintain that behaviour after the campaign is finished. I think that's a really important thing for us, is to try and continue the good work, and it's not just about this 1 week campaign and once it's done that's it for another year. It is really about trying to build some relationships with departments and workplaces, just to continue the good work, having been involved in the campaign, and keep it up and keep it going.
Yeah.
And how we can help.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? I think if you're doing it with workplaces, people will be more inclined to do it, with their work colleagues, with their friends, rather than maybe if they were just going to do it on their own. So you really encourage full workplaces to sign up and get involved.
Yeah, definitely. I think you definitely that camaraderie among work colleagues, and maybe that's something that we've missed over the last couple of years from working at home. So I'd hope that Active Wellbeing gives that opportunity to almost feel, even though we're hybrid working, still to have that bit of sense of team camaraderie again, and team building and team spirit by kind of this common campaign to get involved in, for sure.
Yeah, that sounds really good. And you were saying CSSC, it's 100 years this year, so the organisation's been going around for a while. So are you doing anything to mark that occasion?
Yeah, we celebrated officially last year. We were formed in 1921, so a lot of our celebrations were last year, but they were quite curtailed to some extent, again due to the restrictions in place. We were able to do a fantastic event at Kensington Palace towards the back end of last year, which was a really fantastic event to celebrate all that CSC has done over the last 100 years. We've also been doing a CSSC 100 initiative, which is all about asking our volunteers to come forwards, to come up with ideas on what sort of events they could organise to celebrate our centenary. And we've been flooded with applications, and we've whittled it down to 100 events organised by volunteers that are actually going to be happening this year. So there'll be 100 CSC events organised by volunteers, which will be really cool. We did a fantastic centenary book documenting all of our history that's available to purchase on our website. It goes right back through the decades, which is a really fascinating read. And we've just been trying to tell our story that, it's CSSC is unfortunately we see ourselves one of the best kept secrets in the civil service and public sector, and then we're not widely known about. So we've just been trying to tell the story of who CSC is, and the illustrious history that we've got in the last 100 years, and trying to think up new ways of communicating out those stories, whether it's through podcasts like these, doing our own podcasts. We've been doing online centenary cafes for people to join. So just trying to find out new ways to be able to people to find out about our illustrious 100-year history.
Yeah, absolutely. 100 years old, but probably people are beginning to realise that having a good physical activity is even more important. So your 100th birthday came at the right time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it came at the right time. Yeah, you're right, actually.
Right time, wrong circumstances.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But luckily we can continue some of the celebrations that are spilling out into 2022 still. So it's quite a nice long big birthday celebration.
Absolutely, that's really good. Well, I've really enjoyed talking to you today, Daisy. Thank you for joining us, and hopefully a lot of people across the sector get involved in the Active Wellbeing campaign.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Specifically designed for civil servants and public sector workers, CSSC is an exclusive not-for-profit membership organisation inspiring over 140,000 members to explore new ways to be active and healthy through everyday saving, offers to get active and things to do. Starting on Monday 17th January, Active Wellbeing encourages participants to make small positive changes to their working day to improve health, happiness, energy and work-life balance. Find out more about the campaign by visiting activewellbeing.me.uk. If you enjoyed today's podcast and discussions, don't forget to like and subscribe or give us a rating on whatever streaming service you're using. Thanks for listening. See you next time.